In the opening, Clint Barton is showing his girl toxophilism on his separated homestead while his significant other readies an outing lunch for them. Abruptly, Clint's little girl evaporates and the remainder of Clint's family deteriorates, alongside half of all life across the universe, the consequence of Thanos snapping his fingers in the wake of obtaining each of the 6 limitlessness stones. Cloud and Tony Distinct are abandoned in space following their loss by Thanos on Titan, yet are gotten back to Earth via Song Danvers and rejoined with Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Flagg, Steve Rogers, Rocket, Thor, and James Rhodes. The group figures out how to take the limitlessness stones back from Thanos and use them to switch his activities, yet learn after finding him that he had utilized the stones a second opportunity to obliterate them, forestalling their further use. He lets the excess Vindicators know that he did as such to try not to involve the stones for additional loathsome purposes. Rankled, Thor decapitates Thanos, saying it's what he ought to have done in Wakanda. After 5 years, Scott Lang escapes from the quantum domain to find that his girl Cassie is presently a teen and that Trust Van Dyne, alongside half of the populace, has vanished in the snap. Rogers has been driving distress advising meetings for survivors actually battling with the impacts of the snap, while Romanoff is indefatigably overseeing both Earth and the remainder of the universe with the assistance of Rhodes, Danvers, Okoye, Rocket, and Cloud. Lang goes to Romanoff and Rogers, and makes sense of that while 5 years had passed for them, just 5 hours had passed for him in the quantum domain and that time extends much diversely there. The 3 go to Unmistakable, who is presently bringing up a youngster with pepper pots, and make sense of their hypothesis that the quantum domain can be utilized to travel once more into the past and take the boundlessness stones before Thanos can gather them. Obvious at first oddballs their proposition with worry about gambling with his family and the harmony he has found, yet subsequent to reflecting upon the deficiency of Peter Parker chooses to test hypothetical models that would work with Lang's quantum burrow, in the end tracking down one that works. With Unmistakable now ready, the leftover Vindicators set off on a mission to reassemble their group. Bruce Pennant has now embraced the mass as a piece of him, and has merged his own cognizance and the mass together into one. Romanoff, in the wake of hearing reports from Rhodes of a professional killer that works with comparative strategies to Barton, passes on to track down him. Barton, consumed with melancholy after the deficiency of his family, has been working under the mantle, Ronin, while ruthlessly slaughtering criminal cartels and packs all over the planet to attempt to work on the world that is still left. Natasha tracks down him in Japan and after some persuading, he consents to rejoin the group to attempt to bring his family back. Pennant and Rocket go to the modest community of New Asgard, where Valkyrie and the last overcomers of Asgard have settled. They there find Thor, who has become overpowered by responsibility over neglecting to kill Thanos in Wakanda. Thor has become overweight, his hair and facial hair are congested, and he invests his free energy eating low-quality food, becoming inebriated, and playing Fortnite with his companions Korg and Meek. Thor hesitantly consents to get back to the Justice Fighters after some persuading from Rocket and Pennant. Subsequent to testing the quantum time machine on Barton, who affirms that it works, the Justice Fighters are brought together with an arrangement. Flagg, Rogers, Lang, and Unmistakable leave to recover the time, brain, and space stones during the Clash of New York in 2012. Flagg goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where he is educated by the antiquated one that requiring some investment stone from her timetable would forestall Stephen Ott's future endeavors to prevent Caecilius from annihilating the laws of nature. Nonetheless, when Flagg tells her that Odd surrendered the time stone readily to Thanos, she permits Pennant to make them suggest, Peculiar had expected for a particular succession of occasions to happen for Thanos to be crushed. Flagg additionally guarantees the stones' revisitation of their legitimate courses of events to forestall any evil impacts. Lang and Unmistakable endeavor to take the Space Stone after the Justice Fighters seize it from Loki. Lang gives Unmistakable's previous self a gentle heart failure by pulling a circuit in his counterfeit heart, while Distinct takes the portfolio lodging the Tesseract when no one is looking. Their arrangement is foiled when Obvious drops the attaché after he is coincidentally hit by the Massachusetts. Loki then takes the Space Stone and uses it to get away from guardianship. Rogers prevails with regards to taking the Psyche Stone from covert Hydra specialists, yet finds his previous self, who botches him for a hidden Loki. Subsequent to overcoming past Steve, Rogers gets back together with Obvious and Lang, who presently should sort out one more method for getting the Space Stone without running out of the restricted stockpile of Pym particles that permit them to go through the quantum domain. Lang gets back to the present with the Brain Stone while Rogers and Distinct devise an arrangement to take the Space Stone from a U.S. Armed Force establishment during the 1970s, while additionally taking further vials of Pym particles to make the excursion back home. While there, Rogers cites Peggy Carter and Distinct has a significant discussion with his dad Howard. Rocket and Thor travel to Asgard to recover the Truth Stone before Malekith utilizes it against the 9 domains. While in Asgard, Thor is reminded that his mom, Frigga, would pass on soon and gets an opportunity experience with her while Rocket takes the ether, the disintegrated form of the Truth Stone, from Jane Cultivate. The two revisitation of Earth after Frigga advises Thor and he recovers his sledge Mjolnir, thrilled to find that he is as yet deserving of it. Cloud and Rhodes travel to Morag to take the Power Stone before Peter Plume does. As Rhodes gets back to the present with the Power Stone, Cloud breakdowns and stays on Morag. With two consciousnesses working on Cloud's frameworks, Thanos and Midnight Throat find the presence of future Cloud and go to grab her. Cloud acknowledges what has occurred and attempts to caution the others, however is past the point of no return. Thanos checks her recollections and finds the Vindicator's arrangement, and sends the more steadfast past Cloud back to the present as a government operative. Barton and Romanoff travel to Vormir to recover the Spirit Stone, however are clashed when Red Skull, manager of the stone, illuminates them that it must be recovered by forfeiting somebody they love. The two battle about which will make the penance, with Romanoff eventually accepting all negative consequences, while a distressed Barton gets back to Earth with the Spirit Stone. After everybody has gotten back to the present on the planet, Unmistakable, Rocket, and Standard set off on a mission to create a glove to use the stones, one built from the equivalent nanotech of Distinct's most recent Iron Man suit. Pennant volunteers himself to use the glove and bring back everybody that vanished in Thanos' snap, thinking that he can endure both the gamma radiation and the gigantic aggravation and injury welcomed on by utilizing the stones. He succeeds, however they are very quickly gone after by Thanos, who has been brought to Earth by the Faker Cloud, obliterating the quantum gateway all the while. Thanos decreases the Vindicator's central command to rubble, separating the group and making the glove fall into Barton's security. The previous Cloud is killed by her future self as she endeavors to take the Vastness Stones from Barton, while Rogers, Thor, and Unmistakable go up against Thanos, who concludes he will rather utilize the Endlessness Stones to annihilate the universe and make one in his vision. The three battle Thanos one-on-one, with Rogers affirming Thor's hypothesis that he truly deserves employing Mjolnir, however are each outperformed by Thanos. Not long after Thanos' military grounds on the planet, Chala shows up before Rogers, alongside the Vindicators in general and different partners restored by Flag, prior to sending off an attack on Thanos and his military. After an extended fight during which Obvious is brought together with Parker and Plume is brought together with past Gamora, Thanos grapples with various Vindicators for the Vastness Stones. At the point when he's limited by Wanda Maximoff's energy, Thanos orders Glaive to have his boat fire various energy impacts, almost pulverizing the Justice Fighters' endeavors. Chief Wonder returns, taking out Thanos' boat while battling for control of the glove. Utilizing the nanotech from the new glove, Unmistakable moves the Boundlessness Stones from Thanos' hand to his own and utilizes them to transform Thanos and his whole armed force into debris, victoriously expressing, "I'm Iron Man." Parker and Potts console Distinct as he kicks the bucket from openness to the stone's radiation. Following the fight, the Vindicators hold a memorial service for Distinct, whose imprint-eye circular segment reactor is drifted out on the lake close to his home. Barton and Wanda Maximoff take comfort in the way that Romanoff and Vision, who didn't return in the snap, would be pleased with their triumph over Thanos. Thor makes Valkyrie the sovereign of Asgard and joins the gatekeepers of the system to track down his actual reason, liberated from the weight of eminence and authority without precedent for his life. Barton gets back to his family and Parker gets back to school, where he is brought together with his closest companion Ned. In the meantime, Rogers is entrusted to go into the past to return the stones and Thor's sledge to their unique courses of events, yet chooses not to get back to the present and to rather carry on with the remainder of his life in the past with Carter. He returns before Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes as an elderly person, and passes his safeguard and the mantle of Chief America on to Wilson. A concise flashback shows Rogers and Carter in a normal-looking house, at long last sharing the dance they never got to have in their lounge room, genuinely blissful finally.